from God
Recording
out of
in progress.
prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. And that is what we read in Revelation chapter 21, verses 1, 2, and 6. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to United Spirituals of the Christ-like Church. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Associate Minister Penney Moore, and I will be your chair today. And it looks like we have everyone here has been here before, so yay! We love our returning congregants because, you know, we're a family here. I really believe so. All right. So to start, let's have a few funnies to tickle your funny bone. Yesterday I ate a kid's meal at McDonald's. His mother was furious. Satan welcomes the arrival of the new damsel. Congrats, he said. You've wasted your entire pitiful life. Look who's talking, says the man. I'm not the one still living in my father's basement. On a busy holiday, the zoo manager offers $200 to a worker to act as a gorilla since the real one is sick. Determined to impress his boss, the worker climbs the enclosure and hangs from the ceiling of the lion's den. However, he slips and falls to the floor just a few feet away from the lion. Scared for his life, he starts screaming for help. Soon, the lion pounces on him and whispers, "Stop talking right now, or you're going to get us both fired." The first computer was owned by Adam and Eve. It was an Apple with very limited memory. Just one bite and everything crashed. All right, now it's time for the invocation. Sweet Spirit of God, we are so grateful to be here today. We wish peace to everyone who is with us today, here on earth as well as those in spirit. We are blessed to have the opportunity to connect to those living in spirit. We are all standing together as one as we say the prayer that the Master Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. All right, and now I believe there's a song. All right, thank you.
Me and my bass lines.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. All right. All right. On the first day of the festival of unleavened bread, when it was customary to sacrifice the Passover lamb, Jesus' disciples asked him, "Where do you want us to go to make preparations for you to eat the Passover?" So he sent two of his disciples, telling them, "Go to the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. Say to the owner of the house that he enters, 'The teacher asks, where is my guest room, where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large room upstairs, furnished and ready. Make preparations for us there." The disciples left, went into the city, and found things just as Jesus had told them. So they prepared for the Passover. And this is what we read in Mark chapter 2, verse 16 of the New International Version. All right. And most of us here are old enough to remember this song from the Fifth Dimension from, I think it was around 1970 or so, from the musical Hair. It was a lovely song that told us we were on the onset of a new age of peace and love. The harmonics and melodies were lofty, and it was the proverbial hippie manifesto. The title of the song was The Age of Aquarius, a time influenced by an astrological sign with the same name. Why is there an Age of Aquarius? During a period of about 25,772 years, the Earth's axis slowly wobbles through the constellations, known as the precession of the equinoxes. The precessions of the equinoxes is sidereal, which will be explained in a few minutes. There is a plane showing an apparent motion of planets and stars in the sky from the viewpoint of someone standing from the Earth. This plane is called the ecliptic. On the path of the ecliptic are the familiar 12 signs of the zodiac. Each sign is characterized by a constellation, which is a specific grouping of stars. The sun's sidereal position at the time of the March or vernal equinox moves to a new sign in the zodiac at approximately every 2,150 years, give or take a few years. The age of Aquarius begins when the sun's position falls in the sign of Aquarius. During the time since around the birth of Jesus, it has fallen on the sign of Pisces. You may be thinking, but the vernal equinox falls on 0 degrees Aries. And that is true on the tropical charts, which most people are familiar with. It's like the pie, and the pie cuts out of the pie. And the vernal equinox is always at 0 degrees Aries, but that is the first day of spring. However, since a precession represents sidereal change, there is a 24-degree difference from the familiar Western tropical zodiac. The reason why is because the constellations have slowly moved over the millennia. And it's also important to mention that the precession of the equinoxes moves in the opposite direction. That is why we see Aquarius following Pisces, Pisces followed Aries, and so forth. After the age of Aquarius, it'll be the age of Capricorn. So it's backwards. Are we currently in the age of Aquarius? The answers are yes and no, depending on who you ask. According to astronomers, it won't happen until 2597. However, there were others who claim it started during what was known as a harmonic convergence in 1987. You remember that. And so others say it started in 2012 when the Mayan calendar ended. Others claim it started in the 19th century because of the Industrial Revolution. In 2020, Saturn and Jupiter were almost in exact conjunction on December 21st, the winter solstice. This conjunction is known as the Great Conjunction, and it happens approximately every 20 years. The conjunction hasn't been this tight since the 13th century, and is placed in, you guessed, 0 degree Aquarius. It also started a 200-year trend where the conjunction is going to happen in air signs. Many people are saying that the Aquarian age started with the 2020 Great Conjunction. My personal belief is that we're still at the tail end of the Piscean age, and we're cusping with Aquarius, and in a couple hundred years we'll be fully in the sign of Aquarius. But no matter what the true time is, there's still no doubt that since at least the 1700s, the world has been increasingly influenced by the Aquarian energy. And let's talk about Aquarius for a moment. Its tagline is, I know. It is an intellectual air sign, fixed in nature. The symbol of Aquarius is a man or a woman pouring a vase or a pitcher of water. Was going back to that passage, the biblical passage. Jesus talked about the man carrying the jar of water. It was talking about a time about 2,000 years in the future that was going to be influenced by this sign. It has 2 ruling planets, Saturn and Uranus. Anyone who has studied astrology knows that these planets carry very different energies. Uranus is an outer planet known as the Great Awakener. It is all about thinking out of the box, freedom, individuality, breaking loose, the masses, and sudden change. Saturn, represent structure, karmic lessons, discipline, executive order, the status quo, and restraint. When I think about the planetary rulings of Aquarius, it makes me wonder how anyone who was born under the sign keeps his or her sanity. It makes me think of the push me pull you animal and Dr. Dolittle, going two directions at once. Because, it's a very much a balancing act to make those two planets work together. But they do. They really do. And let's talk about Pisces for a moment. Its tagline is, I believe. It is an emotional water sign, mutable in nature. It is symbolized by the two fishes attached that's swimming in opposite directions. It also has two ruling planets, Jupiter and Neptune. These planets are also different, but not as opposed as in nature as the Aquarian planets are. Jupiter is all about expansion, long distance travel, enthusiasm, having a large influence, generosity, royalty, and philosophical and religious thinking. Neptune, an outer planet known as the Great Dissolver, represents imagination, dreams, psychic ability, creativity, and disillusion. Pisces at its best is the manifestation of peace and unconditional love, known as the Christ consciousness. Does that sound familiar? The Pisces energy, when misused, can also result in confusion, overly emotional decision making, religion having too much political power, blind faith, the tendency to escape from reality via drugs and alcohol. Does that also sound familiar? When we hear the opening lines of the age of Aquarius, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, and peace will guide our planet and love will steer the stars, which sign comes into mind, Pisces or Aquarius? The hippie movement of the 1960s was about peace, love, and drugs, which are very Piscean. Make love, not war, it's a Piscean anthem. However, Aquarius showed its influence when the young people of the time decided to break free from what they considered the restraints of their parents' generation. Now let's revisit what I mentioned a few minutes ago regarding how the Aquarian energy has been influencing mankind more and more over the last few centuries. In the 18th century, the political landscapes were changing. People began rising up at that time to usurp to monarchy, which is ruled by Jupiter, which has been the political model for millennia. Revolution, which is ruled by Uranus, was in the air, beginning with the American Revolution in the 1770s and the French Revolution in the 1790s. The unrest escalated in the 19th century, at least here in the United States. In the 1860s, we were embroiled in the Civil War, which almost caused a permanent split of the country. In the 20th century, there was the Russian Revolution in 1917, a Great Depression in the 1930s, and 2 world wars. In the 21st century, we had 2011 Arab Spring. In 2020, the UK voted to exit the European Union, known as Brexit. There is current political unrest here and other parts of the world. It features an almost precise split between 2 camps. One of them wants to go back to a simpler time that had clear economic and gender-based roles, which were largely based on religious influences. Again, Pisces. The other wants to move into a new paradigm for the future, taking religion out of its place as a central theme and replacing it with more secular influences, which is more Aquarian. It's that there's a battle between the Saturninian and Uranian forces here in the West. Based on the energies that are getting stronger every day, the newer paradigm will eventually win. Humans know this on an inner level, on a subconscious level, and that explains most of the unrest going on, because change is always stressful, whether it's good or bad. Uranus rules electricity and technology in general. The 18th and 19th centuries were times of great advancement in man's understanding of electrical force. Think about Benjamin Franklin's discovery when he flew the kite. And he began to see how humans can control and harness this wonderful energy. He invented the lightning rod, which saved many homes from being destroyed by lightning. Back then, storms were a big danger for homes that were mostly made with wood, and if you were struck by lightning, too bad. You lost your home, you have to build a new one. And the lightning rod saved many homes in that way. In the 19th and 20th centuries, Nikola Tesla did his work of harnessing alternating electrical current, and then Alexander Graham Bell discovered how sound can travel through wires, thereby inventing the telephone. And Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. And all of those were ran by electricity. And all those inventions are still in use today. In the 20th and early 21st century, radio, television, and internet literally changed the world. These are just a few examples of how invention, ruled by Aquarius, can revolutionize society. It's easy to see why Uranus is known as the Great Awakener. The Christian Church, ruled by Jupiter, ran most European governments during the Piscean Age. The influence of religion has begun to unravel during the Enlightenment, ruled by Uranus in the 18th century. From about 1700 to the early 20th century, the Church slowly lost its grip of Western governments. Russia was the very last stronghold until its revolution in the early 20th century. And that was partially influenced by Karl Marx's idea that religion is the opiate of the masses. Despite the current movement to put religion back into the government in this country, the Aquarian energy is not a faith-based energy. In this instance, it's a good thing, because religion mixed with politics has been one of the worst negatives of the Piscean Age. Judging from what I know of the coming age, that movement is going to fail, because the energies are just not going to support it over the next, few centuries. It just isn't going to happen. Does this mean that the Aquarian Age is going to do away with religion and spirituality? No, of course not. Even though it's a sign that puts science and human ingenuity in the forefront, there will still be room for religious and spiritual growth. The Aquarian mindset relies on reason rather than blind faith, but also recognizes that inner knowing is its highest expression. Typical Aquarian Age religions include spiritualism, unity, Scientology, and theosophy. Anyone who studies these religions knows one thing that they have in common. They all have a scientific underbelly. Occult texts and traditions, such as tarot, were once underground due to the danger strict religious laws posed. Now the teachings are available to the general public. The Age of Aquarius puts people, rather than centralized churches, in the driver's seat. It supports groups, large and small, that in turn supports the idea that a person's individual path is a true catalyst for spiritual growth. The idea of personal responsibility is Aquarian. There will be enlightenment during this time, where we're going to see masters coming from all walks of life instead of just one or two iconic masters. It's going to be everywhere. It will be interesting to see how all this will unfold. It will fulfill what Jesus said about all of humanity having the potential to do the things that he did. In the Aquarian world, there isn't a room for an elite. On a more mundane level, Aquarius also rules humanitarian activities. Monarchies faded not only because of the church losing its influence, but because they failed to provide sufficient justice to all their citizens. Aquarius demands that the masses, no matter how poor and wretched, have an equal voice with the politically powerful. There is so much goodness that will come out of the Age of Aquarius. It is indeed an exciting time, the age of man that has been dreamed about by mystics for many centuries. However, just like anything else, it does have its dark side. Aquarius is a fixed sign and not always flexible in considering the rights and opinions of others. Both of its planetary rulers are considered malefic in astrology because their energies are very challenging. Uranus can force change at all costs, and Saturn can be tyrannical in enforcing the changes once they become part of a status quo. Examples include the French, Russian, and Chinese revolutions, which toppled monarchies but left equally repressive governments in their wake. Revolutions are often necessary to effect change, but there is always the risk of violent destruction. In this age, it is vital to bring change as peacefully as possible. Science and medicine can be as dogmatic as any religion, and it's important to realize the need to respect the minds and accomplishments of our forebears. We're throwing the baby out of the bathwater when ancient traditions such as astrology are dismissed as pseudoscience without taking the time to really research it before drawing that conclusion. I used to think about it until I took the time to look into it, and it's definitely not a pseudoscience. It is an art, and it's a spiritual science. It's different than biology or astronomy. You know, it is not material-based, it's spirit-based. So a lot of modern scientists just don't understand it. And also, you know, a lot of people, you know, have a mistrust of modern medicine and technology, but you know, it's a helpful thing as long as it's practiced right. And I don't know if anyone here is an anti-vaxxer, but I mean, I have a problem with that movement because it brought back diseases like polio and smallpox. You know, we eradicated those diseases until people stopped taking vaccines. Modern science has done its part in improving human lives, especially over the last 300 years. We're always discovering new things about our universe. Last but not least, it isn't wise to assume human knowledge can ever trump nature's design. After all, Mother Nature has about 4.5 billion years of experience backing her up. Mankind can use all of nature's gifts as tools to make our lives better and easier. In the Aquarian age, it is vital for mankind to work with nature rather than against it. Humankind is at a point where we can literally destroy ourselves. Technology is great, but the wrong use of it has caused pollution, climate change, military weapons with unbelievable destructive force, disinformation over the airwaves and internet, and pharmaceuticals that are not only very expensive, but have very serious side effects. Many people have concerns over the rise of AI and its potential for abuse. Uranus is relentless, and it's escalated by the fixed nature of Aquarius. It can be very easy to become and stay unbalanced with this energy. However, despite its downsides, the age of Aquarius has potential to lift man out of the darkness into the light. It can't be repeated enough that both Uranus and Aquarius rule the masses rather than the elites. And a true rule by the people will be possible during this age. Wouldn't it be wonderful to live in a world where people are judged, like the Reverend Martin Luther King said, by the content of their character rather than their outside appearance? The silly judgments of individuals based off of gender, religion, sexual orientation may finally end over the coming centuries. Science and technology, if used right, have the potential to permanently free man from poverty and hardship. Our lives are going to be longer thanks to Saturn, which rules long night. See, there's a lot of good things about Saturn, and that's one of them. It rules long life. We're going to have a better and better understanding how to respectfully harness Mother Nature's many gifts. Perhaps during this time, man will be able to explore the stars when new laws of physics are discovered. Our spiritual understanding will be enhanced when our psychic abilities are commonplace rather than repressed. We can finally see ourselves in each other's as true sons and daughters of the Most High. Science and spirituality have the potential of coming together again instead of being at odds with each other as they have been during the Piscean Age. The age of man has those potentials and more. In closing, I would like to explore how we can bring about the more positive Aquarian energies. We all know that Uranus offers unlimited freedom. However, that freedom cannot be truly realized before developing the discipline that Saturn teaches. Utilizing both will bring the full potential of that wonderful air sign has for us. Learning restraint in Saturn first, and then experiencing the freedom to meet in Uranus gives humanity the ultimate win-win scenario. You don't have to be an astrologer to understand and appreciate that in order to enjoy freedom, we must be responsible for ourselves and our relationship with others. Use your critical thinking skills before falling for someone else's rhetoric. If you hear someone preaching division and hate, understand that fear-based language and actions will never bring positive change to the world. In your spiritual and mediumship practice, make sure that it's you in charge and not the spirits you're working with. Understand and appreciate the difference in others, no matter how annoying they may be to you. Aquarius is a sign of universal brotherhood and sisterhood. Let's do our part to confirm the fact that we're all a part of the family of God. Realize that the age of man is a time for human beings to truly become empowered and liberated. I'm excited about the coming age of Aquarius, and I hope you are too. All right, and I would like to thank all of you for listening to my take on the age of Aquarius. Now it is time for a meditation. All right. So I would like everybody to situate themselves comfortably in their chairs and take a couple deep breaths. And as you're breathing, make sure, align your feet flat on the floor, palms comfortably up. And take one deep belly breath with your nose, filling the bottom of your lungs with the life-giving essence of God. And then slowly exhale through your mouth. Take another deep belly breath, hold, and release. With one more deep breath with your nose, hold, and release. And today I'm going to do a chakra meditation that I found on YouTube a few years ago that I found was really helpful. We have 7 major chakras in our body, starting with the root chakra, going up to our crown and to the third eye that's between our eyebrows. So the very first chakra is our root chakra, which glows a beautiful red. And the tone for the root chakra is lum, and it's pronounced lum. So right now, I would like everybody to do the lum chant. Just feel that energy balancing and restoring that beautiful root chakra energy. And now we're going to go up to our sacral chakra, which glows a beautiful orange color. And it represents our creativity and the pleasures of life. The tone for the sacral chakra is Vam, and it's pronounced Vam. So right now, I would like everybody to do the thumb chant. Feel that orange energy that's growing inside your body. Feeling your creativity through every cell of your body. And the next chakra up is known as the solar plexus chakra. It shines a beautiful yellow color, and that is our chakra of self-empowerment. And the tone for the solar plexus chakra is rum, like the drink, rum. So I'd like everyone to do the rum chant. And feel that yellow energy that's growing within you. And next chakra up is the heart chakra, which generally glows a green color, sometimes pink, and it's our center of love and compassion. And the heart chakra chant is yum, like yummy, yum. So let's everyone do the heart chakra chant, yum, yum. Just feel that green energy, that love and compassion extend through your arms and hands, going out through your fingers to bless the world with that chant. And then the next chakra up is our throat chakra. It glows a beautiful blue color, and it's the center of speaking our truth as well as our intuition. And for the throat chakra, the chant is hum, hum. So let's all do the throat chakra chant. And then next up, we're going to go around the back of our head to the very tip top to our crown chakra, which represents our highest spiritual energies. And for the crown chakra, the chant is bum, bum, bum. So let's go ahead and do the crown chakra chant. And finally, the energy is going to move to the center between our eyes, which is known as the third eye chakra. And the third eye chakra is where we receive visions from spirit. And for the third eye is the familiar Om chant. So let's all do the Om chant for our third eye chakra. And just right now, as all your chakras are energized and balanced and restored, allow yourself to sit for a few moments in the silence. Okay, and now bring your attention back to your body in the chair. Feel the presence of your fingers and your toes. If you like, you can go ahead and wiggle them. And once you're ready, you can open your eyes.